It's time for another tale from the glass-guarded world. In the previous episode, Tara, Finn, and Paxton began their journey to deliver a wagon load of wheat to the town of Zauberfeld, a journey of nearly a month. They were followed, however, by a suspicious wizard in a gray cloak. Guess who's back? You can see following you, but from a much greater distance, you can see your friend in the gray cloak.
Is he behind us again?
He's behind you again. Got quite a bit of travel time here. Is there any particular way you guys want to spend your time while you're traveling? Anything special you want to do?
Aside from preparing spells, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. I mean, that's as a wizard, that's what you keep doing when you can, is you study your spells, especially the ones you haven't learned yet, so that when you are able to cast them, you'll be able to cast them.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've got the highest animal handling, so I assume I just
You're
stay the
mostly
driver,
driving.
and you all can hang out in the back and do whatever. Maybe keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah. Can we just simply, like you said, just keep an eye on them, just be alert on him the whole time?
Yep. He's far enough away that he can't hear your conversation, but he's keeping you in eyesight. I mean,
if we wave to him or anything, does he respond?
He doesn't respond.
Since there are other people who also travel the road, are any of the other people equally familiar? Like, are we all just on a common route, or does he seem very suspicious?
The other people are not familiar to you. They look like ordinary farmers. They're not. There's nothing terribly interesting about them. There's one fellow who's riding up toward you and riding up to your wagon. He's wearing the broad hat and rough clothes of a farmer. Looks like he has something to say to you.
In particular, I think, or I want to ask rather, does he seem to be specifically staying at our pace? Because I'm assuming if we're on the road, there's some wagons that'll be going slower, some wagons that'll be going faster, some people that are just walking. So I'm sure we'll see people to and fro, but does he seem to be keeping our pace?
He could go faster, but is not. He is keeping roughly your pace.
Okay.
So this guy rides up. It's pretty clearly a farmer. And he says, "Howdy. Name's Garland. Just finished driving cattle to market. Now I'm headed home. Where are you folks headed?"
Who wants to know?
Garland. I just told you my name's Garland.
What business is it of yours?
Well, y'all know anything about medicine?
Why?
Well, I got a lame horse at home that could use some attention. And I've been asking folks, and nobody's been willing to help, but I hate to put the thing down. It's been a faithful horse. It's been a good critter. I could put you up in my barn for the night if you want a place to stay. If you'll help me out.
Where is your farm?
Well, we'll have to ride for a bit further. It's just a bit further along, about another 2 or 3 hours of riding. It's off the trail, not far away from the trail. I got some cows and pigs, and I grow some crops. I grow barley and wheat. I got all sorts of stuff.
Trail?
What's that?
It is still off the trail.
Yeah, it's not far off the trail. I just returned from driving some cattle to market.
Insight check.
Yeah, seconded.
I got a 7.
7.
And this is a
21.
roll that normally I would roll, but it's
okay.
fine. It's fine. I mean, you guys don't... What'd you roll? 20? Seems legit. He just seems like a farmer. I mean, he's dressed like a farmer. He's riding a draft horse that's not a war horse or anything. It's not a racing horse. It's just a workhorse. And he's got muddy boots. He looks like the salt of the earth.
Paxton seems the most likely to actually be able to help the man, so I look at him and kind of shrug.
I want to help, but I'm afraid that it might put us off mission.
I look back at the guy that's riding far behind us, and then look back at the farmer and say,
He's actually not looking at you at the moment. He's looking off at some trees to the east of the trail.
But he's still roughly just like trotting with us, yeah. I say, well, if the farmer lives off of the trail, we can go ahead and follow him And if we spend the night there, we'll have reassurance that we are in fact being followed and act upon that. But for now, we could just call it coincidence.
That's a good point.
Y'all seem mighty suspicious like. Is there something I ought to know? Is there something... Y'all don't seem real trusting sorts. What is something wrong?
The road's been rough these days, we hear.
Well, I can't argue with that.
It's up to you. You're the one that can help the horse.
I say let's do it, just to see mostly what the guy in the gray coat does.
I agree.
All right. All right, well, he rides with you for a while. He tells you more about himself. He says, yeah, I'm a widower. Now, don't get any ideas, Missy. I like it out here alone. It's nice and quiet. I can get to town if I need company. My daughter moved to Feldkirk with a boy years ago. Haven't heard from him since. Son helps out on the farm sometimes, not as much as he ought. Even with the drought, it's not so bad. I hear those wizards are helping bring some water in from the sea to some of the farms farther north. Maybe they'll make down my way. So you arrive at his house in the evening. It's just a simple farmhouse. Garland grows primarily barley and wheat, as I said, raises pigs, a few cows. The resulting smells, especially from the pigs, aren't pleasant, but it's nothing compared to Mulder's bunk. And he asks you to take a look at his lame mare. So he leads you to the barn. You want to make a medicine check?
What specifically is wrong with the mare?
Well, that's what a medicine check would tell you. I mean, you can see that it's favoring one leg. It's limping.
All right.
Oh, well, he's
is that
doing
something
that.
you roll?
I could do it, sure. What's your bonus?
+5.
Oh, yeah. It is obvious to you. This mare has a damaged tendon, and it would take an extended period of careful treatment. An expert would need to stay here with this horse for weeks to help it recover, or you could just cast a healing spell on it, and it would be fine.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to cast Cure Wounds on it.
Okay.
So, let's see. 1d8 plus 6. That is 14.
Yep. Good as new. The horse just suddenly, happily bounces around its pen. Wow. Look at that. That was easy. Well, y'all are welcome to stay in the stable if you want. There's a big vegetable garden out back. You help yourselves to whatever you like in the morning. We don't usually get bandits or other troublemakers around here being this close to Denton, Mulder's bunk, but my pigs, they scare things away. They're mighty ornery. You should get a good night's sleep. If you want, there are bales of hay. Those are fairly comfortable. It's quite warm still, but you've slept in worse places. And are there any special precautions? You want to set watches as usual for the night?
Still wanting to set a watch with the recommendation that that guy's probably following us.
Mm-hmm. Can we climb on top of the barn so that we can see
farther away?
Yeah.
Actually, it has a hay loft. Yeah, you can climb up to the hay loft. It's got a ladder. Yeah, you want to look out?
Yeah, I want to do a perception check to see if I can see that guy in the gray coat anywhere.
You don't see him.
Well, I guess while I'm up here, I'll take the first watch, and y'all can take a nap or whatever you need.
I will go ahead and find myself a nice little hell bale, have my bedroll sprawled out in front of me, and then go ahead and jump on there to pass out.
So you two lay down. It's pretty comfortable. And he's going to let you also stock up on your supplies for the horses if you want to, for your horses if you want to. He's got a big trough of water. You could refill your water. Paxton, you're on watch first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So around midnight, I don't know, how long are you on watch? Your watch is finishing up around midnight, let's say.
We agreed that our watches are about 2 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Okay.
So you're finishing up your watch around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to wake up. Who's going to take second watch?
I'll take it.
So you're about to wake him up. You hear a pig. Pigs have been sleeping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a pig suddenly make an alarmed sound. And then you hear some weird noises. It's hard to describe them, but if you had to describe them, you describe them as squishing noises.
That does not sound good. I'm going, since we were going to trade shifts anyway, I'm going to wake you up. And I think maybe we can go investigate it and let her sleep so that her long rest isn't interrupted, unless you think we should wake her up as well.
I think we should be okay. Worst case scenario, we can make noises loud enough to wake her up. We're just going around the barn, correct?
I think.
while you're on watch, I'm guessing you're in your armor.
Mm-hmm.
And you're asleep. I'm guessing you're not in your armor.
Yeah, I would have my chain shirt off.
Yeah, she would need time, a couple minutes to get her armor on.
Let's just better be safe than sorry. Wake her up, and we'll all get prepped.
That's something that people often forget is that putting on armor takes quite a while.
A few minutes. Yeah.
All right. So you wake her up and I guess help her quickly get her armor on. All right, and you walk out of the barn toward the noise of these the pigs are making, and you can also hear the cows are starting to low. They're starting to make some agitated noises.
I'm making agitated noises too because I was woken up.
By the dim light of the night sun, you can see a grayish, glistening blob of irregular shape slowly oozing its way. It's crossed the cattle pasture, and it's climbing on top of a pile of hay that rests under a shelter in the middle of the pasture. And it seems unaware or uninterested in you, but it's sort of oozing across the pasture and oozing over the hay.
Have we ever seen anything like this before?
Never.
Does it seem to be interested in the animals or the
Nope,
hay?
It's climbing over the hay.
Is it going directly towards the barn, or does it seem to be going in any direction?
It's going for the hay.
Is it trying to eat the hay?
Well, you guys sit and watch it for a bit. The blob stretches out long tendrils and then pulls itself fully over the hay. And you're not sure, but you would guess it's eating the hay. It's sort of moving around, and the hay is moving. And inside the blob, I'm sorry, do you guys have torches or anything, or how are you guys seeing?
I have dark vision.
You have dark
vision. I don't know
vision.
about them. Yeah.
Okay. It's dark enough. There's dim moonlight, the equivalent of dim moonlight. But so you can't see real well. You want to light a torch, or do you want to just rely on the guy with dark vision to tell you what he can see?
I'll just rely on him. I don't want torches to bring attention to us.
Okay.
I might be afraid of fire.
You can see a bit better, and you can see that inside the blob you can make out shapes of some kind, something large and round, some smaller dots, some other indistinct shapes.
Does it seem... Okay, can I do a nature check or an investigation check to see if it seems like it's digesting the blob, or if it's digesting the...
What's your nature check bonus?
Nature is +4.
You haven't a clue.
Okay.
I mean, the most obvious explanation is that it's eating the hay, but if it's doing something else, you're not sure.
Well, I say we try to stop it to help the farmer. I'm just not sure how without burning the hay.
Should we maybe go wake the farmer up, since this is really more of his problem than ours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah?
I'm gonna watch this thing when you go
Okay.
get him.
Make sure it doesn't attack the
It
livestock.
completely ignores you. All right. It just sits there on this pile of hay, digesting or moving or playing with. I don't know. You don't know what it's doing. Doing something with the hay. You guys go up to the farmhouse and knock on the door, and Sleepy Garland comes to the door. Whoa, what is going on?
Some kind of critter's eating your hay.
What? Who's in my hay? He reaches behind the door, pulls out a pitchfork. Hold on. Let me get a torch. He grabs a torch, lights it. Let's go.
All right, I lead him back to where the blob is.
All right. Well, in the torchlight, you can see it's definitely a grayish shape. It's slightly translucent. And now you can all see that inside this blob are vague shapes. You can't tell what they are. And it's pretty clearly eating the hay. You can tell it is absorbing and digesting the hay. And he says, "Oh, my hay! What is it?"
We don't know. We thought you'd know.
I heard about these blob creatures that come from the river area, but not this far south. This
Do you want
doesn't
us
make
to kill
sense. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pay you 4 copper pieces each. You drive that thing off or kill it.
No,
I'll
try and
just
kill
do
it.
it for letting us stay for the evening.
What's that?
I'll do it for free. You can keep your money.
Well, I like that deal even better.
So, before we get into a fight or anything, I want to see if I can just command it to go away, because I think it probably doesn't have a super high wisdom.
Okay.
So, I'm going to try to cast command on it and get it to flee.
I'm going to straight up tell you it has no effect.
I'm gonna see if a sword has an effect.
Okay. All right, let's roll for initiative.
I got a 3.
12.
Paxton?
11.
Tara, you're the one who's sort of acting first, so I'm going to, even though you get a 3, I'm going to start with you, and then we'll go around to the top of the list. So, Tara, go ahead. What do you want to do?
You know, since the thing is really odd,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to actually take out one of my hand axes
Uh-huh.
to throw at it.
Okay.
Okay.
How far back are you standing?
Well, I'm going to have to get into range
Right.
to throw it. But I got a total of 9.
9?
Yeah.
So your hand axe hits it, but just sort of doesn't quite get absorbed in. It just kind of goes, bloop, and then falls off the side of it.
Okay. And does its...
It reacts to that, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it pulls away from that area.
Okay.
And then one little pseudopod sort of pops up out of it and is sort of waving in your general direction.
I'm imagining like Flubber right now.
Sure. Yes. I take it you're not going to move, no other actions other than throwing the axe?
I mean, I can, if I'm able to make a move action to approach it closer, I'll do that.
Okay. All right, how close are you getting to it?
Within slashing range, so I guess that's a 5 foot.
All right. Finn, your turn.
With a book in one hand while trying to take some notes on this creature that I've never seen before, I create a mage hand with one of my the hand that I'm not holding the book.
Okay.
And then just simply try to poke it, pull it, prod it, slap it around a little bit, see if it reacts to anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're 30 feet away from it then.
Yeah.
A pseudopod emerges from the blob and tries to swat at the hand, but can't hit it.
Because
And
the
apparently it
hand...
wouldn't matter if it did, because apparently it's
ethereal, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was going to be my question. Is it not able to hit the hand because the hand is ethereal and it goes through the hand, or because it tries to reach the hand and the hand moves away?
Do you want to move the hand away?
Well,
Or do
no,
you
I'm
wanna
just
let
asking if it has enough distance to actually hit the hand.
Yeah. It can hit the hand.
Okay. I'll let it hit the hand. The hand's just
Okay.
going to reform.
Okay. Paxton.
So I'm still standing next to the farmer, right?
That's right. He's got
All
the torch.
Yeah, I ask him if I can borrow the torch for a minute.
Yeah, all right.
And then I walk slowly up to the blob. I'm thinking that since it's gray and it's at night, it's maybe afraid of light.
It does, in fact, pull away just a bit from the torch.
Can I, like, wave the torch or, like, jab it with the torch or something?
Sure, you can make an attack if you want to actually hit it.
Yeah, I want to kind of jab the torch into it, but not enough to put out the fire.
Okay. Make an
So-
attack roll.
All right.
This is like with using a club or something.
I'm not proficient in torches, so I assume that's
Well,
going to
treat
be
it as a club. Would you be considered proficient with a club or something like that?
simple melee weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that would be a 10.
It is actually able to pull away from the torch.
Well, it doesn't seem to be afraid of the fire like I thought it would. So,
I mean, it clearly doesn't want to be hit by the torch. It's pulling away from it.
Nor
Fascinating.
necessarily anything.
What's that?
It doesn't seem to want to be hit by anything necessarily.
No. And now it is the blob's turn, and the blob actually tries to get Paxton. So several pseudopods suddenly reach out around you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it, but it actually hit you. So several pseudopods suddenly reach out around you and envelop you. And it sort of grabs you, but you only take 3 damage.
okay. Am I grappled?
You are effectively grappled. It's this round. All it does is grab you.
A little help here, guys?
And Tara, it's your turn.
Okay. And these are like tentacles like stretched out from its body.
Yeah, they're not like tentacles in that they don't have suckers on them or anything, but they're big blobby limbs that have come out and just wrapped around Paxton.
I'm gonna take my longsword and swing down
To try to chop
at those
through them.
connections and
Great.
try and sever those.
Make an attack roll.
I got a total of 8.
No, you're not able to penetrate its thick outer
Goo.
skin. It feels, I guess, Paxton, you can tell it doesn't feel like Jell-O. It feels wet, but tough and leathery on the outside.
Like it maybe has a skin?
Yeah, it has like some sort of membrane on the outside.
Okay.
I'm not loving
And
it.
that was Tara's turn. Finn?
Is it sitting on top of the hill? Because I can easily burn it.
Yep, it's
But
sitting on
I
the
don't
hay.
want to burn the hay.
Garland doesn't want you to burn the hay.
Yeah. I will, in that case, instead of doing a full burning hand to burn the whole thing, I'm going to do a small firebolt.
Okay.
Take my hand and then shoot that at it. Oh wait, yes, firebolt. 16.
Yes, that hits it.
All right, so it's a 1d10 minus 2, as per the Magistry rules.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 7.
Now, it felt that. It doesn't like that at all. It withdraws from that burnt area and, in fact, begins to pull away from the hay altogether. Paxton, it releases you. And what do you want to do?
Put some distance between me and that thing.
Okay. All right. You back away. It's the blob's turn. So it actually takes its move. It moves slow. It moves 15 feet per round. All right. So it moves 15 feet away from you, back toward the edge of the pasture. And the cows that were sort of cowering there by the fence all sort of move away to give it room to pass.
Okay. I mean, I can burn it now.
Tara, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna see if I've woken up enough to actually make a hit with my sword.
All right.
Alright, this is total 16.
16. That is a hit.
Alright. 8 plus 2.
That is a lot of damage. It suddenly stops moving. It just stops, and the giant slash you just made in it, everything inside just starts flowing out through it. It just suddenly inverts, and just everything flows out from the inside, spilling all over the pasture.
Can we see if we can get that torch and see what's actually going on with this thing?
All right. So Garland gingerly walks over. He's not real happy about being closer to this thing. You can see inside are various unidentifiable organs. You're not sure what they are. They don't look like organs that you're familiar with, but they're some sort of bodily organs. Nothing else of interest aside from some undigested hay, a squirrel skeleton, and 2 leather scroll cases.
Ooh.
The first scroll case is partly digested, and so is the scroll inside.
Damn.
The second scroll case appears intact. What do you want to do?
I use my mage hand to pull it out, clean it up a little bit, shake it,
Yes.
and then bring it back to me.
All right. Yes. In fact, you would guess that there's some digestive juices in here. It's acidic, and that was probably a good idea. All right. So there are 2 scroll cases, 1 damaged, 1 intact. Which one do you want to start with?
I'll start with the intact one to see if I can discern what it says.
Okay. You can open it easily. You just wipe it off on the grass. And inside is a scroll, and there's neatly printed handwriting on it, and it says, "The second truth of foresight. When a river ceases to function, you have perhaps 50 years left. You must consider escape." And then below that it says, "The truths of foresight can be found by the eastern bubble for those brave enough to find it." You want me to read that again?
Yes, please.
It says, "The second truth of foresight. When a river ceases to function, you have perhaps 50 years left. You must consider escape." And then below that right there is like a quote, right? So that when a river ceases to function, you have perhaps 50 years left. You must consider escape. That's some sort of quote. And then below that, it says, "The truths of foresight can be found by the eastern bubble for those brave enough to find it."
Eastern.
I'm gonna look at Garland. You say these things are coming from the Broken River?
I heard them other farmers up north, a heap of trouble they've had, with the reduced river flow and all that. But it's even worse with these creatures coming out at night. But I hadn't heard anything about them coming this far south. They come out when it's wet or when it's dark and cool and wet. They like that. But this far south?
And did these things start when the river broke?
Well, they started after that. I don't know if they started because of that or what. I don't know. Maybe some, that's right next to the magistracy, could be some wizard thing.
Could be.
I chuckle at the suggestion, and then I ask him, well, say, wasn't Foresight one of the, wasn't it that cult from a few years back?
Oh, yeah, I heard about them cultist, weird people. Talking about all their God and all that stuff. Silly.
So we know everything that's in these packets, right? Okay, so I know that once entered in the free city of Feldurk, members of the cult worship a god called Foresight. The cult gradually died out and may no longer exist. Foresight is the only named god in the history of the world.
Right.
Alrighty, cool.
Okay.
Well, that's an odd note.
And then there's the damage scroll.
I guess I'll see what I can decipher from that.
All right, so this is what you can make out on it.
Are they both in common, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And this one is written in a spidery handwriting, sort of a sloppy, scribbly handwriting.
Okay.
And it says, for the Western Research Facility, 20 barrels of wine, quality not important. 2 tons of flour. A half ton of salted beef, pork, or fish. A half ton of dried vegetables. 2 iron mine carts with spare parts. The heat is affecting them faster than expected. 40 shovels. Quality is important here. 10 5-inch by 5-inch by 10-foot posts per week. Clothing for, and then it is torn or digested. You can't read it anymore.
Damn. Where was it? The Western facility?
It says for the Western Research Facility, and then it has a list of a bunch of items. And the rest of the note has been eaten away. There may have even been more paper in the tube, but if there is, it hasn't survived.
It's been digested already.
And then one more thing. After you read the scroll from Foresight, you notice there's actually another scroll behind it. And it says, in the clear handwriting, with a different ink, this was found on a cultist. He would not talk, but he was probably planning to meet with others. Keep an eye out for others spreading this superstitious nonsense. A worldwide panic is the last thing we need. And then it's just signed with the letter K.
That's interesting. Huh. Well, what do you guys want to do? Because I'm ready to go back to bed. Well,
No, you're
start my
not.
watch.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I can study these papers if you guys want to go ahead and try to get a little shut-eye.
Yep.
All right. Back to bed. You don't have any trouble going back to sleep. I mean, that was exciting, but it was also a little exhausting. You go back to sleep. Your watches pass without incident. You wake up and help yourselves to some large cucumbers for breakfast. Garland brings you some fried eggs as well from his chickens. He also brings you, what did he promise you? 4 copper pieces?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 4 copper pieces each or 4 copper pieces total?
I think it was each.
Each. Okay. So he gives you 4 copper pieces each. Asks if there's anything else he can do for you because, he can't afford to be wasting hay, getting it eaten by critters. And also he wants to know, what do you think he should do the next time one of those comes by?
Scare it away with fire.
All right. Well, I guess I might have to sacrifice some hay, but if that works, I'll try it.
Better than have it eat through your hay, and who knows what else it might eat. If we found the squirrel inside, it might eat something else too.
Yeah, I don't want it eating my critters. All right. Well, thank you, folks. I hope you have a good journey.
Thank you.
Oh. Never mind. I was going to say, if you see this fellow in gray riding by, can you give us a call? And then I realized phones are not a thing. Yeah.
I'm going to inspect our wagon before we set out. Make
Oh,
sure
good
everything
idea.
looks nice and
All right.
tidy.
What's your perception plus 2? Is it
My perception is wisdom, so it's 1.
All right. Nothing looks out of place. Horses look fine. They slept real well.
I say we hit the road.
All right.
A burning daylight.
It's a nice, safe day's travel. The weather's just slightly cooler than yesterday. You can see a merchant caravan up ahead. It must have either passed you in the night or they got an earlier start or something. There's no sign of your gray-cloaked follower at the moment. He doesn't appear behind you. But you can see this merchant caravan. What's your perception bonus?
9.
Your perception bonus?
Oh, I'm sorry. My perception bonus is -1.
Okay.
My passive perception is 9.
And what was yours? 5?
Perception is +3.
Okay. Surprisingly, Finn, you can make out, and maybe you can do this because you're a gnome, you can make out that you're pretty sure these are glass merchants. They sell glass.
From the wall?
Possibly. There's also other ways to make glass, but these are glass merchants. There's a caravan of several big carriages. They're glass merchants.
What do I need to be the value of glass?
This is a sort of a pseudo-medieval setting, so glass is pretty valuable.
Okay.
Glass windows are uncommon. Only wealthy people can have them. Glass plates or glasses, drinkware, are considered fancy.
Okay.
I think maybe we should just draft behind this glass caravan, because in case any bandits come, they're going to want to go after the more valuable glass than the less valuable wheat. Kind of take the heat off us.
I would actually be very okay with that. If anything, it might make the two of us better targets, but we might get some glass in the way, or some gold.
The caravan merchants sort of wave you forward. There's nobody else visible, so they just want to be friendly and talk with you guys. You can tell, let's see, there's a half-orc, an orc, 2 humans, an elf, a halfling, and a gnome.
Good
Quite a
morning.
few.
All right, well, you're greeted by the half-orc. He seems pretty friendly, and he says, "There's safety in numbers. We are still near Denton, so there should be no trouble still." So he suggests continuing to travel together. And you spend the day, I guess, listening to some stories they tell you about the region, the glass, interesting glass deals that they think they're interesting. Interesting glass deals that they've made and the things that they sell. Pargosh, the half-orc, actually sells window panes. Grubrak, the orc, provides guard duty and also installs windows. There are 2 humans, Miro and Vesna, that sell glass drinkware. Flindor, the elf, sells fine glass trinkets and jewelry. Barrow, the halfling, also sells jewelry. And then Grindelbar Trinkledor, the gnome, sells delicate glass mechanisms such as musical boxes. And they are eager for any news you could provide of the area, of any interesting events going on. They can pick up that you guys at least have been to a rival or spent some time there. If you guys have anything to share with them about that, they're eager for just about any news. And you think they're probably interested in it because they're hoping they can make some money off of any information you give them. Like maybe there's a place where it needs some glass. But they're interested in any news you can share with them. So we don't have to play all that out, but if you want to share news with them, you're welcome to do so.
I let them know that I've heard that the people in the magistracy have been taking over areas of the Free City, according to what I've heard.
Yeah, they've heard the same thing, and they've heard that it's not so much a takeover like in a military sense, but they're sort of extending their influence. They're doing favors for people and making them positively inclined toward them, and there might even be a tower that might be built soon in the northern end of the Free Cities region, a wizard's tower. That's what they heard. I do not like the sound of that. What's that?
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh, okay. Well, they're sort of neutral about that. They don't take sides. They just want to make some money. They have some of their own news to share with you. They tell you that crops farther north near Feldkirk have been damaged by some ooze monsters of some kind. While they're fairly easy to kill, they keep coming back. The magistracy has offered magical and scientific assistance, and some farmers are taking them up on the offer. These guys are only transporting non-magical glass. They don't have any fancy glass steel. But they've heard that in the magistracy, there's a new supply of glass from the walls of glass steel that has become available, which is sort of taboo. You're not supposed to do that nowadays. But no one knows what this source is, and the government there doesn't seem happy about it. And anyone caught with this glass is punished, and efforts are being made to track down who's responsible. And these merchants don't really want to go there because they don't want to have to deal with being hassled.
So I want to know what glass steel actually is.
It is pieces of the magical glass of the walls of the world broken off and then crafted into something useful. It's extremely hard. It's difficult to break off. It's as hard as steel. And if you break it off in the right way, using the right magical tools, it can itself become a useful magical weapon.
And these merchants are coming from where?
They're coming from Denton, actually. They're coming from the same direction you came from.
And they're heading for?
They're heading for Feldkirk.
So they're heading towards the same place we're heading toward.
They're heading toward the crossroads, but then your paths will part. Because you guys will head westish and they'll head eastish.
And Feldkirk's where they'd had the issues with the ooze monsters?
That area, yeah.
Well, over the conversations as our cards are talking and, at a certain point whenever Paxton jumps in, I go ahead and I whisper to Tara, well, if it seems like the magistracy is extending itself over to Feldkirk, maybe it might be interesting for us to go there and see what they're trying to do. Or do you want to inspect the river first?
Well, I think we were on that way anyhow. But I do want to see the river when we can see the river.
We can always double back and go to Feldkirk after we make the delivery. We have to pass the river twice that way.
Aren't we going through Feldkirk on the way to the river?
Feldkirk is actually...
Before the river.
So there's a crossroads, and if you turn right, you would go to Feldkirk. It's called the Feldkirk Crossroads. But if you turn right at the crossroads, you go to Feldkirk. If you turn left, it takes you to the old bridge and the Broken River.
I guess we can check the map and see
It would be
which
a bit
one's
out of your way.
closer. Yeah.
So you want to check out Feldkirk?
Possibly, but we can always make the delivery first. I just think that, well, to be candid with you, we also want to see what the Magistracy is doing in this area and if they have anything to do with the river or why they might be expanding. So if their current frontier is Feldkirk, then it'd be interesting to see what they're asking in exchange for help with these uses. We can always make the delivery first, accept the job to bring it back, and stop by Feldkirk on the way back. So that's also an option.
Mm-hmm. I'd be interested in seeing what's in Feldkirk too, though.
Since Paxton had a negative response to the tower being built, I asked him about that.
So, Paxton's been living in the Free Cities for quite a while, and he really identifies with the people who live there, the poor farmers and everything, and he sees the Magistracy as kind of like an aristocratic class. And he really resents what he sees as rich people coming in and leveraging their power to try to what he sees as take over areas. So he really does not want them to extend their reach any farther because he feels it's not really very fair.
They tell you if you guys want to go to Feldkirk, they'd be glad to go with you there. Again, there's safety in numbers, but that's where they're going. They'll be going that way whether you do or not. They'll be glad to continue traveling with you because you've still got several days before you even get to the crossroads.
Is there anyone in their party that's like can defend themselves?
Yeah. So the orc Grubrak, he can stand up for himself pretty well. The others may be capable of defending themselves to some extent, but Grubrak looks like a guy you don't want to mess with.
I say we travel with them for the next few days, and then we can make our decision then.
Now, around midday, your friend with the gray cloak reappears behind you. You can see him in the distance following you guys, or going the same way as you guys.
Well, that seals it. He's after us.
I just can't figure out why.
We could always kill the horse.
I've considered it.
Although that'll give him intent to attack us if he actually has a plan to do anything. I would say it's more likely that he's after the grain than us. Or
he wants our delivery money. He seems like the sort.
True.
I have a feeling that he might be following you two specifically for some reason, since he seemed so interested in what you two were up to in the warehouse earlier.
That's true.
Tara looks thoughtful.
You guys continue to travel.
Can we ask the glass merchants if they recognize that guy or if they've seen him around?
No, they don't know him. Based on the information that you give them about him, do you want to tell them what happened with the Grick and all the other stuff that has happened?
Sure. Do you guys have any issues with that?
I would just say that he seems to have been following us.
They say he sounds like a wizard. You notice that Grubrak is not real talkative, by the way, the orc. He doesn't really participate in these conversations. He mostly just sits around and looks surly. But the other ones, they say, yeah, he sounds like a wizard. I mean, he could be from the Magistracy. He could be, they keep tabs on people. He could be hoping that he catches you guys in a weak moment and he takes your stuff. I don't know, but you're probably safe with us.
I say we just stick around with them. Whenever we, if we see him again and we're not with other people, I say we just simply confront him and be like, hey, bro, what's up?
Yeah, you're obviously following us.
Yes, very much so. We're taking interviews for a fourth.
Not that guy.
So other things you learn from the merchants while you're traveling. You've learned that Pargosh is originally from the Iron Empire, and he's glad to be away from that place. He says he won't do business there anymore. The business environment is too unpredictable under the current regime, and he simply doesn't want to operate there. The current emperor is just unstable.
Was there research being done in that area, Garmosh?
What's that?
Was there research being done in that area of any sort?
So there is some research into basically making power, like steam power. They're working on steam-powered machinery and vehicles. So steamboats, for example, is something that the Iron Empire has worked on.
Okay.
Also, they tell you that there have been rumors lately about renewed cult activity for that old group, the Worshippers of Foresight. And Pargosh dismisses these as conspiracy theories. He's never met a cultist, nor has he ever met anyone who has ever met a cultist. And in his opinion, if there are any gods, they're not interested or interesting.
He's an opinionated guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For someone that doesn't speak that much, yes.
No, that was Pargosh. It's Grubrak. The
okay.
half-orc is talking a lot. But Grubrak he's not talking. He's just mostly looking surly.
Does the half-orc look like he'd be worth anything in a fight?
Not particularly. I mean, he's a big guy, but he doesn't look like he can carry himself real well. He doesn't look like a trained fighter.
While we are with these glass merchants for a few days, I'd see if I can make a couple extra copper using my mend spell to fix any broken glass or any pieces that they might have.
Actually, the gnome wants some help.
I'll help him. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the gnome wants some help with some of his stuff that he can't magically mend, but it would be nice if someone could magically mend it.
I'll go ahead and help him out since it's
Great.
clockwork stuff. I already have some idea of how to do it.
All right. Well, he has quite a bit. I know you were interested in getting a tinker's kit.
Right.
If that's something you're interested in, he could probably collect enough tools and sell them to you cheaper than normal as payment.
Of course. I'll help you out for a couple days. And how much can you sell me the tools for?
Let's say 25 gold.
That's more gold than I have.
That's half price.
That is half price. I'll just help you and collect money for now.
Okay.
And yeah, I can go ahead and buy them later on whenever I have the ability to.
Okay. He'll pay you for all the help. This is pretty valuable stuff. He'll pay you 7 gold.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it. Sure.
So you're making some things that were worthless into some things that are worth quite a lot. So he's going to pay you pretty generously.
Nice. Yeah, I'm turning trash into profit.
That's right. Exactly. Now, after spending more time with them, Tara, you are eventually able to get Grubrak to come out of his shell a little bit. He seems to like you the best since you're the warrior. He admits to you that he's grumpy because he's embarrassed. And nobody has told you this because they don't want to embarrass him. But these merchants were actually attacked on the trail southeast of Denton. And while they were able to drive off the bandits, some of the glassware was broken. And he considers it his fault. And that's what he's grumpy about.
And who attacked you?
Just bandits. Just poor people who want food, money.
And all they got was broken glass.
Yeah, well, really, we got the broken glass and they got nothing except a sword in their side. But shouldn't have been any broken glass.
Well, I think my friends help him with the broken glass, so
That's true. That's true. Good point. In any case, he cheers up a bit over time. At night, as you travel, Pargosh suggests circling your wagons up to make a defensive circle. And he insists on 2 people keeping watch, one from your group and one from their group. Although, to sort of relieve the burden on you guys, since there's only 3 of you, sometimes for one of the watch shifts, he doesn't require you guys. A couple of them take the watch instead. Really, nothing happens. You guys are a big, scary group at this point, right? You've got well-defended wagons. You look like you know what you're doing. You guys individually look like you know what you're doing. No one's going to mess with you. At night, for several nights, nothing exciting happens. Pargosh and his merchants are traveling, as I said, to Feldkirk, and then they're going to go to Dengren, which is a smaller town, and then they're heading to Four, which is the biggest city in the Free Cities. And they continue to travel with you, and they invite you to stay with them in Feldkirk if you want to. Of course, you said you're more interested in going straight to the Broken River. You can, of course, go west toward the Old Bridge if you want to reach the Broken River and Zauberfeld more quickly. You have several days to think about it, though. Other travelers are seen less and less often, so sometimes you'll see a farmer come in the other direction. Sometimes you'll see a messenger ride by you quickly on horseback, but other than that, there's nothing exciting, really. You continue northwest.
That's not from the wizard.
Continue to see the gray cloak guy?
And the gray cloak guy continues to maintain a pretty big distance behind you.
Can we try and figure out where he's staying at night?
You can try. What's your plan?
I feel like maybe we should confront him.
Since it's been several days... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, since it's been several days, At least one of those days, couldn't we have made sure to keep watching over? We pulled over the caravan, what he did to see roughly where he is.
So what he does is he actually rides back a distance. He reverses his direction and goes back away from you until he's basically over a hill or behind some trees or something like that.
So we can't see him.
He does that every night.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I was thinking it'd be nice if we could sneak in and tie him up in his sleep or something like that, but he's also a wizard, so that might be kind of difficult.
That's true. My servant doesn't have eyes, so it's not like I can send him out. Damn.
We could knock him unconscious.
Yeah, we gotta find them first to do that. Well,
Well, we can go to the hill or stand of trees where he disappeared and at least start at that distance.
I'm okay with that. We can look for clues to see if we can find anything that tells us where he might be headed.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't think any of us are proficient in tracking, but we can certainly try.
We can try.
All right. So you guys walk back down the trail. Like at night, you want to try to sneak back down the trail and see if you can catch sign of him or something?
I guess we'll need to discuss with our traveling partners that we are going to confront this problem before it becomes a problem.
Grubrak wants to go with you, but the rest of the caravan says, well, if all of them are going, then he needs to stay.
Yeah.
So he's not going to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also feel kind of weird about leaving all this stuff behind, like the stuff we're keeping with them.
Can we do an insight check to see if they seem trustworthy enough to not steal or...
What's your insight bonus?
+1.
Seem like nice folks to you.
We've been traveling with us this whole time.
What's yours? 5. Seem like nice folks to you. And what's yours?
I'll go for it, but it's a 1.
Seem like nice folks to you.
Maybe you can talk to Grubrak and make sure that he's watching our stuff too while we're gone.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Nobody will mess with our stuff. You're just going down the road a bit, right?
Yes, we'll see if we can find that fellow that has been behind us for the past few days.
All right. No problem. Okay. We'll keep our torches on so you can find us easily. You keep them lit.
At this point, I trust them enough. We've been traveling with them, talking with them.
Sure.
They haven't shown any sort of untoward behavior.
It would be difficult for them to say, steal your stuff and then run away. Their carriages are laden with stuff. They're not moving fast. Yeah. I mean, I guess they move maybe faster on horseback than you guys move on foot, but they can only do that for so long. It doesn't seem like something that's likely.
So what time of day is it?
It's evening, so the sun is dimming.
And are we on a hill of any kind?
If you want to stop on a hill, although again, this is pretty flat territory, so a hill is relative. It's a slight rise.
If we're on a slight rise, I think we should maybe climb a tree or something so that we're not visible, and then we can watch what he does while he thinks that we're up. You know,
I'm okay with that.
So you're letting your caravan sort of go over the hill, and then you're gonna climb where you can observe him, and then see what he does.
Yeah, let the caravan continue, and then we'll stay there.
Okay. All right, but you're gonna have the caravan keep moving though. Okay. All right. Well, he rides forward up to the top of the hill, and then as the caravan sort of continues to move away, he stops for a little bit, and then he watches it continue on, and then he resumes his forward travel.
Okay, so eventually whenever the caravan does stop, but just to make sure, what I understood was the caravan's going to continue, eventually it'll stop after that, and we're going to see where he goes after the caravan stops, right?
When the caravan stops, he actually turns around, rides back to the hill that you guys are... I gotta assume you guys are hiding behind a boulder or something.
Yeah, like on top of a tree.
I don't know, let's see if there's a tree on this. Okay, there's a tree. All right, so you guys take some time to... Oh, yeah, wow, you guys are all good at climbing this tree, apparently. So you all climb the tree. He rides back, he gets off his horse, and he casts a spell. Sort of on the other side of the hill where he can't be easily seen. And a magical dome appears. And he and the horse are inside this dome, and you don't see anything interesting happening.
I look at Finn to see what he knows about this dome.
And I do an Arcana check to see what I recognize about the spell.
Okay.
It seems like
what's your Arcana
tiny
bonus?
hut. +6.
Oh, wow. You know that this is Leomund's tiny hut.
Yeah. I love that spell.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what he's done.
So he's basically just setting up camp for the night. Remind me again, does Liam Tiny Hut comes with any alarms or anything like that? If we sneak near it, will it alert him?
No, but it won't alert him. And you also don't know what he's doing inside.
So we can't see into the dome.
That's right. The dome is opaque from the outside, and it is blue. But you also know it's transparent from the inside.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, from the distance that I am, if I were to detect magic, would I be able to sense anything magical that he's doing inside, or will I be blocked
Nope.
by the tiny hut?
Magic can't pass through.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps we should catch him in the morning when he's getting ready to catch up with us.
I like that.
All right, so you guys want to wait here?
We can take watch in the tree.
Well, yeah, I guess you could. I mean, yeah, if you're taking watch in the tree, you can't sleep in the tree, but you could take watch in the tree.
And if he moved further away from the road and we're somewhere near the top of the hill, wouldn't we be able to? Okay, if we're at the apex, then anywhere that he goes, there will always be a bit of a blind spot.
Yep.
Can we set up opposite to where he is so that our camp is not visible from where he is?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, he's definitely going to stay inside this hut for 8 hours.
Okay.
I mean, unless he cancels his spell or something.
I'm trying to think of if there's any kind of trap we could do with rope. Like, put a rope around his hut and then cinch it, like catch his legs or something, but I don't think we'd be able to do that without him seeing us.
Yeah, because the hut is transparent from the inside.
And magical, I don't know if you can cinch it.
The most I can think of is maybe greasing the front or something like that, but I feel like you would wake up and see grease sitting in front of your door and then figure that something's wrong.
Is his horse inside the dome?
Yeah. I say, our best plan would be to just wait it out, and whenever we see him get up in the morning, we don't know why he's following us, but it's definitely not in our best interest, regardless of what the reason is. I say we have enough reason to, actually go ahead and try to detain him or restrain him somehow.
Do you have any kind of magic that would help with that?
Not without leaving a fair bit of burns.
That's probably okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to point something out.
Yeah.
Liamon's Tiny Hut is a 3rd level spell.
That means he's at least a 6th level wizard. Or a 5th level wizard, sorry. So that means he's probably considerably stronger than we are. Yeah.
Are you saying we don't want to mess with this guy?
Not without... I would say go with caution, because attacking him in any way will probably end up in us dying. Like, if we go into, like, just open battle, I'm pretty sure he can just kill us all. Because if he can do 3rd level spells, he can probably do fireball or something.
So, is Liamon's tiny hut just a visible barrier, or is it a physical barrier as well?
It's a physical barrier. You could not charge through it or something.
I would say let's take the information that we have and call that a victory for what it is. We know that he's a high-level wizard, and we know that he's definitely keeping track of us, because as soon as he saw us stop, he went back. So if he's keeping his distance and we don't really know what he's looking for, we can't really wait for the caravan.
I
they have all our stuff. Yeah, I think let's just take the information that we have and keep moving.
Okay.
He will definitely make sure to stick with us, so...
All right, so you head back to the caravan, and Grubrock is excited to hear what you have to report, but disappointed that it was just he went inside a magic dome and stayed there. But everyone agrees you probably made the best choice under the circumstances. Okay, well, you guys continue your travels. There's really nothing new to report, so I'm just going to skip ahead. We'll skip all the way to the 2nd of 6th month, 2007. So that's it's several days later.
12 days, right?
It's 10 days of traveling with Pargosh and his glass merchants. I guess is that 12 days altogether?
You said 20th of the 5th, and there's 5 days per week. So.
Yeah, you've been traveling with Pargosh and his glass merchants for 10 days, and you have reached the Feldkirk crossroads. Less than 2 days to the east lies Feldkirk, once the home of the dead cult of Foresight. To the northeast lie the Fens, an area that was once part of the sea before the Gods River broke. A proper road leads west to the old bridge, And you can see farmland stretching in every direction, though these farms don't look as productive as those farther south. And if all goes well, it's 6 days to the old bridge and 8 more to Zauberfeld. And so it's time to decide. You guys want to continue to the old bridge? Is that the plan?
So we're making the decision of whether we want to go to the Broken River or complete the current mission we're on, right?
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to complete your mission of dropping off the wheat, then you need to go across the bridge up to Zauberfeld. So you need to go that way either way.
Which
The question is,
8
do you...
days.
Yeah.
And then the going along with this caravan, how many days is that?
Shoot, I don't have it written down. I'm going to say 3 days. 3 or 4 days.
Well-
What information might we glean from that city?
I should also point out one other thing. If you guys want more information about an item that I haven't told you, you can always make a history check, and I'll tell you if there's more to be known.
Okay, I say that just because we already took this job, we're already on delivery, let's go ahead and take this over there. We're all interested in what's happening in Fenkirk.
Yep, Fenkirk. Or Feldkirk.
Feldkirk, thank you. We're all interested in what's happening in Feldkirk because of what the Magistry is doing. If we move beyond Feldkirk and get to
Zauberfeld.
Zauberfeld.
Sorry, if you move beyond Feldkirk, you mean if you skip Feldkirk?
If we skip Feldkirk and
Yeah.
keep going forward to Zauberfeld,
Mm-hmm.
we will get a little bit closer to the actual magistracy area. I would say
Zauberfeld is actually inside the magistracy.
exactly. So I think if we go over there first and make the delivery, we may be able to gather a little bit more information as to why they're expanding, and then go to the expansion points and see what we can do based with the knowledge of why they're doing it.
We can also get rid of this darn wheat. And we'll
That's
figure
it.
out if Buddy over there is following us for the wheat or for something else.
Mm-hmm. And if this guy's a high-level wizard, then maybe the magistracy would know who he is, have his papers.
And if he is with them and is just following us for the sake of following us, then at least that takes some weight off our shoulders as well. So
All right.
yes.
So you're going to go west toward the Broken River. You begin your travels. Pargosh and the others say goodbye. If you're ever in Four, that's where they, the city of Four, that's where they have most of their big workshops and a lot of other glass workers there. So if you want to stop by, they'd be glad to help you out, put you up for a few nights if you need a place to stay. But they wish you good travels.
I give them a warm farewell.
All right. So you travel west toward the old bridge, and this area is to the south. It seems pretty dry. To the north, you can see there are trees that are starting to grow that wouldn't seem a little out of place for this area. That is mostly these are fields, but there are trees in lower lying areas to the north. You continue riding. I'm going to say a couple days pass without incident. Your guy is still following you. Nothing exciting there. But on the 5th of 6th month, there is a fire that you spot not far off the north side of the road. And this is a proper road now, by the way, not just a trail, but a proper road. And you spot a fire. It looks pretty large in volume.
It looks like an intentional fire or a...
It's hard to tell from here. You think there's some kind of building burning.
Ahead of us?
It's off to the north side of the trail. So it's a bit off your route.
And how far away?
Oh, let's say it's 3/4 of a mile to a mile.
We're just past the river, right?
Let me look on my map here. You are... I wish I could show you guys the map, or my view of the map. You've got your own copy. So if you look at Feldkirk on the map, and I guess listeners, I'll put the map up online. If you look at Feldkirk, there's the crossroads where your trail intersected, and then the road continues and sort of bends around and starts bending north toward the river. You see that?
Right.
Okay. You can see that big lake there to the west. You guys are getting close to where two other roads cross or intersect with the road that you guys are on. So there are there's a trail and a road, and those head to Four and Dengren, right? So you're getting close to that area, to where those other roads hit the road that you're on. And you can see off north of the road that you're on, there is a building on fire.
How big
I
does the
look at
building
Finn.
look?
Do you have water to put this out? Like See how much we can actually do.
I can make the fire bigger. I can do that.
I might
know
be
if
able
that's
to
what
put
we're
it out.
going for.
All right.
All right, let's go ahead and go over there then.
Okay, so you guys head over in that direction. You can see as you get closer that this is a burning homestead. There is a farmhouse out here, and it is on fire. And you can see scattered around it, there are a few dead animals, and there are no dead humans or elves or any other humanoids as far as you can tell. But there are lots of footprints in the area, and the house is on fire.
I want to cast Create or Destroy Water, which says that water falls as rain in a 30-foot cube within range, extinguishing exposed flames in the area.
All right. With that spell, the fire was not raging, although it was very smoky, but you're able to put the fire out. Now, the farmhouse is in bad shape. It's been burning for a little while, but it could be fixed up.
Can I do a survival check to see if I can tell what the footprints were doing, if it was people running out or if it was people going around?
What's your bonus?
I'm sorry, what was it doing?
Survival.
Survival. -1.
You are pretty sure, looking around, that there are lots of goblin footprints. And you think that they probably dragged off 2 humanoids of some kind to the north.
Okay. Well,
And they probably led off some livestock as well, some cows.
well, it seems like this place was robbed. There's people that seem to were taken away. Do you guys want to go help them and see what supplies we can get along the way, or do you guys just want to keep going and let them have their own luck?
Can you tell how recent the footprints are?
They seem to be about...
They're recent.
They're recent.
They're a couple hours.
I want to check the inside of the house to make sure that there's no one in there who's like hurt or burned or anything.
Okay. You do a very thorough search, and there doesn't seem to be anybody alive or dead in here, although there are signs of a struggle.
Maybe we can park the horse and stuff inside the house and go check for these goblins, or...
I worry about our valuables. I don't want to lose them, most definitely. Especially if that's what Grey Guy is going after. So I feel like we might need to take this stuff along, or one of us needs to go ahead and scope out where these goblins have taken these people.
But you are interested in following through on what the goblins have done with these people.
Yeah, Tara's moral background is I am determined to help and be heroic in all occasions.
I like it.
All right. So the tracks are not hard to follow, and you rolled well on your survival check. So you follow the tracks northward. They lead to an area that is, first of all, the ground's sloping downward. We're moving closer to where the river used to be, and it's getting increasingly marshy. And there are taller and taller trees. Trees are changing from being little bits of scrub to actual full trees. And the ground is getting rockier in places as well. There are occasional big boulders. What are your perception? What's actually your passive perceptions?
11.
9.
13.
Paxton notices, it's going to become a common phrase, Paxton notices that the tracks lead through a series of rocks and then there's a bunch of boulders piled up. And it looks suspicious. Like there's probably an entrance around here. The tracks sort of stop because the ground gets too rocky to continue to follow them. But there's probably some sort of hidden entrance around here.
Can I do an investigation check to see if I can find it?
Sure.
Also, is our stuff with us?
Yep. You're still pulling your wagon behind you.
And have we been traveling longer than an hour to get where we're at?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I can maybe have taken a short rest and gotten back my
You
spell
can
slot.
rest in the wagon if you want to. Do you get slots back on a short rest or a long rest?
I thought I got them back on a short rest, but I can double check.
I know with Arcane Recovery, I gain 1 back per
For short rest, that's right. But I don't think clerics do.
What kind of cleric are you?
Life domain. You regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our heroes walk up to this wall of boulders here on the side of a hill. The ground continues to slope downward. You've got your wagon behind you. What do you want to do? You want to investigate, I think you said?
Yeah, I want to investigate it.
And your bonus is what, +6 or something like that? Okay. You're pretty sure with your investigation check that, in fact, part of this wall of boulders is just a sheet that's been painted to look like rock.
Okay.
Like I didn't try to move a boulder. Felt stupid.
I am going to go ahead and use my mage hand to try to trace the top of the sheet and see if I can find the seam to pull at.
Yep, you can pull it down. It's not hard.
I pull it down.
All right, you pull it down. And, yes, on the other side, you see a surprised goblin who turns his back to you and turns around and says, "Bah!
Yeah, I don't speak goblin. Do you guys want to do anything before I burn him alive?
Yeah.
Can anyone speak goblin and so we can interrogate?
I can give you guidance so that you can add a d4 to your attack to burn him alive.
All right, I'll do that. Okay. Do you want to do anything?
You get this is a prize round, so you get to act, and then we'll move into initiative.
Yeah, we all get a free...
yeah, you can all get a free thing.
Okay.
I unsheath my sword, but I'm allowing him to go ahead and set him on fire.
4 plus 6
is
10.
Is this an attack?
It's an attack, yeah.
Oh, you rolled your attack roll?
14 altogether.
All right, that hits a goblin for sure.
Thank you for the guidance.
So you hit them, and how much damage did you do? Oh, wait, actually.
1d10 minus 2.
Hold on. You missed.
Damn.
Yeah.
14
actually,
misses?
You missed a goblin. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
You rolled a 14, right?
Yes, I got 14
Yeah,
total.
he barely manages to bring his shield up in time and sort of deflects the
fire
bolt.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing.
Quite dexterous.
Yes, he got, I guess, lucky. Go ahead.
I just look slightly surprised as I see a little bit of fire left
So
on
does
his
he.
shield.
Yeah, so does he. He looks at his shield.
I got a 23.
Oh my gosh, that
attacking
is-
him with my sword.
That is for sure a hit. He's busy looking at his shield, and you bring the sword down on top of him,
It hits for an 11.
and he goes down. Ah!
Okay. So once he's down, do we see any other enemies nearby?
Nobody nearby. He barely even got a chance to make any noises. You guys just pulled the sheet down, blasted his shield, and while he was looking at his shield, he got
Cut him down.
cleaved.
All right.
There's an open, somewhat short, oh, well, for you guys it seems short. Seems perfectly normal size for you, entryway here.
Okay. I make a sign to be quiet for a little bit, and I walk up and just peek my head in, see what I can see, and do a perception check, I guess.
All right. You can see that there is a carved out passageway reaching back into the rock and the earth. The ceiling is supported by beams in places. There's an unpleasant smell, but that's all you can see. You can see the passageway curving away from you into the hill.